Hello and welcome to the first Power Pack Q&A session. I'm Jack Nichols and joining me today is Fargo. Thank you for your warm introduction. And also joining us is Cole. Hello, Cole.
Hello.
There you go, a bit more enthusiasm in there. God, Fargo, step up your game. You're going to have to actually talk at some point. No, you have to talk so people know your bloody voice.
Oh my god.
Say something. We're not starting these questions until you say things.
I assume you can cut all of this.
No, I'm not cutting any of this. Fargo, say the words.
I did. I just did.
There we go then. Right, let's actually get onto the questions now that everyone knows what we sound like. Okay. Our first question comes from Warren Graham. Probably not the real one. Why don't you love me?
Why don't you love him?
Yeah, this is directed at me, so I've got this. So this is basically from the commentary where I repeatedly said how much I don't like Warren Graham at all. And the simple answer is, I suppose it's more the character that I made over the game person, because he kind of felt a bit boring. Like, his entire character is just, I really like Max. I really like Max. But Max doesn't like me. And I suppose that's failure of the writer, in which you've made kind of this character which is only that. But at the same time, that's pretty much what he is in the game as well. So, you know, I just find him kind of boring.
I, however, don't see the appeal of Chloe over him.
Well, she's got blue bangs, yo.
She's hip.
He has a USB stick filled with necromantic and cannibal holocaust.
He does, God. No, yeah, that's a good point. He's creepy as well.
Wait, are you saying people who like Cannibal Holocaust are creepy?
Yeah, but if someone says, man, I've got some films illegally downloaded that I'm going to give you, you give them Necromantic and Cannibal Holocaust.
No. We don't know the relationship. Max and Warren clearly are good friends who know each other. At that point, you're allowed to start recommending films that are outside of the norm.
I suppose you did force me to watch that film, Begotten.
I didn't force you.
You kind of just said, we're all watching a film, watch it with us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to deal with it. Like, if it's how I dealt with you in Videodrome, where Josh and I were like, we're watching Videodrome. And you were like, what's Videodrome? I'm like, I know, we're watching it. Because, like, if you know what Videodrome is, you become Cole, who just keeps rebelling against the idea of watching Videodrome.
I'm not watching Videodrome.
Why wouldn't you watch
ever.
Videodrome?
Because I know.
All hail the new Flesh.
Right, this is going places. Let's move on to our second question. Our second question comes from Zach Antle, regular Life is Strange viewer, I recognise the name. And he asks, is Fargo American?
Yes, it's in North Dakota.
Yes, exactly that. That is exactly what he meant by that.
It's a small city.
And also a film and TV show.
Yep.
You're not American.
Wait, he's not?
Shocking.
How could you?
Shockingly, no.
I know Fargo. I've known you for 5 years. How did you? How did I not know this?
It's true. It's my darkest secret.
Yeah. I think we should just move on from that. Why not? Daxman Nobody asked, so will you finally reveal your next series? Followed by many question marks.
Yes.
I will, yeah, when it's done. Don't know what you want out of me besides that, Daxman. Coming this month. There you go, if you want something. Throw everyone a bone. But Daxman Nobody also asked, and what inspired you to do an abridged Life is Strange? I love the work you guys have done so far. Keep it up. Thank you, Daxman.
Poor fool.
This is also the question of Ella Jenkins, what gave the idea for an abridged series, and for this game in particular, by the way. Adore the series, watched all the episodes 1,000 times, and I can't wait for more of your stuff. Ella Jenkins, you need to sort your life out. It's not healthy to watch these episodes 1,000 times.
Is that even possible?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't added up, like, what's 90 minutes times 1,000? 90,000 minutes? I don't even know how long that is.
That's a long
It's
time.
a long time. You need a much more healthy lifestyle than Ella Jenkins. But Life is Strange Abridged, what inspired it? Basically boredom. I mean, I was already working other videos, like I've got 2 videos up on the channel of like, oh, my favourite games of 2014 and favourite games to look forward to in 2015, most of which turned out disappointing, actually. But I was trying to do something YouTube-wise, and I had a part-time job where I was just basically working in a shop, and there was a lot of downtime, and I'd recently started playing Life is Strange, and I just thought, man, wouldn't it be funny if I put my own voice over this? And then I did. And no one told me to stop.
I mean, I did several times.
I was too polite to ask you to stop.
Well, I did send you guys, like, test footage, and, like, is this okay? Is this fine?
Well, I mean, what did happen is we streamed every episode.
We did, because we were... I bought Life is Strange after thinking, man, I really want a game like Heavy Rain. And then... And then,
This is not something an irrational person thinks about.
not usually, but after some of the lines that were in Life is Strange at the beginning, mostly said by Chloe, you know, like, I hope you... What was the lines that she said in the bathroom?
She used the word hella a lot.
She used the word
Yeah.
hella a lot, and it was kind of that "how do you do, my fellow kids" kind of vibe I was getting from it, and I just wanted to like show everyone, and it became sort of tradition to just keep streaming it later on. But then it also became like an exercise in writing the series, I suppose.
The thing is, though, you started off just with like silly voices, and you showed us these silly voices. I didn't think you would take it this far.
I didn't think I'd take it this far,
We took it too far.
but it's been going good. So, you know, hooray for being bored at work, and hooray for live streaming Chloe saying hella a lot. Anyway, next question. Not sure if you've answered this at all, but would you want to do a Life is Strange Season 2? And if it was to happen, would you do another Abridged series of it? Love your videos, smiley face. And that is from Annie's Chan 116. I'm pretty sure that's the same question twice. Oh no, wait, they're asking...
No. She asks. I assume it's a she with Annie. She asks, "Would you want a Life is Strange season 2?"
Yeah, sure. And if it would...
Why not?
If
Yeah.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
And if it was to happen, would you do another Abridged series? Yeah, sure.
If that means more silly voices, then sure.
I mean, we don't actually know what's going to happen. I mean, I heard that Don't Nod were going to, like, do something, a completely new story detached from the first season, so, you know. Nope. It'd be cool if it happens. Don't know what it'll actually be, though. Right, next question. This comes from Thomas Lawlett. So, what did you guys actually think of the game? I think I'll go first for this one. I really liked... like the idea of this like open environment that you can just examine everything. It's like this detailed world that the writers have clearly like tried to flesh out quite a lot. And I was always very, very hopeful like in the game, that I was always really interested to see where it was exactly going to be going. But that said, I was very let down by the ending. Very let down by the ending. I think that was the point where I was like, oh, we were just leading up to an A and B choice, and all of those other choices kind of felt pointless afterwards. Which happens a lot. It happens far too much in this industry.
The choices themselves, I don't think, worked at all.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of poke fun about this in the series. It kind of doesn't make sense. But anyway, you guys?
I kind of feel like Life is Strange is what would happen if Saved by the Bell mixed with Twin Peaks, and yet somehow was really disappointing.
Wow.
And also wasn't as funny as Saved by the Bell.
Wow.
And Saved by the Bell isn't funny.
Okay.
It's... Life is Strange is basically a game to me that has no idea what it actually wants to be, and that it doesn't know if it wants to be a Twin Peaks-esque story of a creepy town with the creepy real estate developers with the creepy sort of Damocles hanging over it, or if it wants to be a down-to-earth story about teenagers trying to find themselves, and in the end it manages to flub both of them so spectacularly.
Yeah, those two themes do not go well together. There are so many themes that the show starts off, or not the show, the game starts off with, and they lead absolutely nowhere. Like the wealthy family that literally owns the entire town. All of that turned out to be meaningless.
Mm. And Max, I know some people like the idea that Max's time powers aren't explained, but the extent to which the plot begins leaning on them, in the sense that she can jump between time periods, and to the extent that she is causing the downfall of the town, at some point you need to have something explaining why this is happening, and they just don't do it.
But at the same time, do you really want an explanation, like, from the writers that you're saying aren't doing a good enough job?
I'm saying I'm not saying an explanation like Max's time powers came from that time she was really nice to a deer, and the deer was like, I will give you time powers now because you were nice to me.
That would be pretty great.
But just, there is no connective tissue between Max's time powers and the events that begin happening. Like, what are Max's time powers? She can reverse time, okay, and she can go back to the past by looking at photos. Like, these are very different things that just happen to be time-related.
And her powers are very inconsistent throughout this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few moments where I'm like, oh, I guess she's over the whole nosebleeds thing, and then the nosebleed came back in the final episode, and that was it.
The final episode in particular feels like, if that was the finale they had planned, I would be very, very surprised. That feels like a very rushed job.
I agree. I don't believe that was their original vision. It looks like as if they ran on money, or Square Enix refused to give him more money, because it does not feel connected with the other episodes in terms of just the effort they put into it.
Or with itself, in the sense that there's this entire middle section that's just this long, languishing sequence of going through nonsense dream symbolism, and a stealth section, and then you turn up at the lighthouse.
I think it's just video games, really. That's how I'm looking at the dream sequence. They needed a big, like, climax kind of moment of tension and stuff, and you don't really get that when you're walking up a hill to the lighthouse, so they thought, dream sequence. Also, we can reuse assets. That's a bit mean.
Yay. Well, no, it was pretty... If I'm thinking about it, apart from the plane and the art gallery, nothing in episode 5 is original assets, really.
There might be a few scenes.
Maybe like the burning of the town, but even then, that's mostly characters we've seen before, who are all conveniently like on the same street.
Yeah, I think there's a few scenes of the like not reused stuff.
I think so. Going through the town, there's locations we haven't seen as well.
Well, all things we can look forward to them maybe fixing in Season 2, to go back to a previous question.
I'm not sure I've seen their new game Vampire, and that dialogue was painful.
It was very game trailery dialogue.
It was very try-hard dialogue.
I'm more concerned that they actually seem to have gameplay now, and
all I'm thinking now is, like, the game's like, you're a doctor and a vampire. I'm like, yeah, but that Witcher 3 quest, though.
You can't really compare to CD Projekt Red.
That Witcher 3 quest, though, like, how are you going to beat that?
Yeah. Well, I think we should move on from that, because we got good mileage out of that question. What's your favourite joke in the Abridged series? And that is from Kamina Girl.
I'm going to swipe that later.
You always did like that. You always brought that one up.
It's the turning point where Max's, like, deep narcissism really reveals itself, I think.
Fair enough.
My favorite is the apathetic principal, because he's basically the character in game who's just taken to an extreme. because throughout this game, he shows nothing but apathy. Like the first episode, when confronted that a student might have a gun, he replies with, "Well, his family is my boss," and just kind of blows your mind, because one thing we know about American schools is they take guns very, very seriously. Like even like extremely seriously. Like, you know, a kid could be suspended from chewing a Pop-Tart into a shape of a gun, and there's this principle. Well, my paycheck.
That's a good point. My favourite joke is the ending. David Cage appearing and saying, no, there was always going to be a tornado. Why were you trying to stop the tornado? Why weren't you trying to save people? God.
Hi.
Right, and we'll move on to one final question, also from Thomas Lawlett. Who was your guys' favourite characters with RECT? In-game and your own series. Sorry, I know he means characters.
In-game, I plead the fifth.
Really?
Really.
Okay, fair enough.
They're all various shades of vacuous.
Well, welcome to Northwest America.
I guess if you had to force me to choose a character in-game, I would have to say Warren, because he is so pathetic. I feel so sorry for him. So if the game actually makes me feel something for a character other than just downright annoyance, and he is kind of annoying, I guess I would have to go with Warren.
Fair enough. In-game, I have to say, well, it was Mr. Jefferson. Like, I always thought he was like, yeah, this is a guy who really knows where he is in the world, but he kind of fell apart in the last episode, where it turns out I'm a serial killer, and I really like taking photos of drugged up girls. Why? Because it's the only way I can get off in the morning. That kind of threw things down a little bit. I can't believe I didn't have a prepared answer for this. Genuinely, I don't.
I would also go with, I would have gone with Mr. Jefferson, except, well, we saw how that went, his character went.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about him is he's probably started off having one of the most natural sounding voice actors in the game.
Oh, definitely. Kind of went a bit.
Trying
to be angry.
Really trying to be crazy and psychopathic and.
Yeah, but you know, last episode wasn't as good as it could have been. Actually, no, I've come up with a good idea. Kate. I like Kate. I mean, she doesn't get nearly as much done with her as it really should have been, considering she had that big moment in episode 2. But I like the idea of like addressing depression, addressing bullying in the game, and I feel like the game does it well enough. Does it well enough with Kate. It does forget about her, and that's kind of not great. But I feel like their actual handling of Kate is probably one of the better done things in the game.
Let's be honest, the most dynamic character in the game is the plant in Max's room.
The plant.
It does go through a lot of development, yes.
It goes through the most development in the entire game out of all the characters.
Yeah, it goes to dead in episode 3 because it was watered twice in 2 days.
I can say who my favorite character in the series is, and that's Wilhelm.
Oh yeah.
Wilhelm is good times.
Wilhelm is wunderbar.
I have a soft spot for the added Canadian character in the Abridged series.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you have an affinity towards him. Not as if he's based off of anyone that we know.
He's so polite.
He is such a polite person. My favourite character to do in the series, probably Wilhelm as well, but I suppose I should think of something else considering you've said him. I'm just going to say Max. I just love like riffing with Max. Everything. Yeah.
I did appreciate Max's like. Just she was not a good person.
Yeah, she was not a very good person, and you didn't portray her as one, which is great.
Yeah, in the game she clearly strings Warren along for the entire game. She's just not nice.
Yeah, she obviously in the game just using Warren and leading him on, thinking that she would show feelings towards him as a result, and I think she knows that.
You know, I'm not going to let all this Warren hate stand. I think Warren did nothing wrong. I think Warren was a perfectly fine gentleman who was young and a bit overeager and didn't fully understand, you know, that maybe he was being a bit awkward and a bit creepy. But, you know, we were all young once, and I think it's wrong to judge Warren for that.
Yeah, but I hate my younger self, so...
And I also think Warren was less of a bitch than Chloe.
Ooh.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Ooh, the Pricefield shippers are going to be very angry with us today. Right, I think we can round that off now. So, thank you very much everyone who sent in their questions. We'll do this again eventually. I don't know.
I hope you're all looking forward to Abridged.
I'm going to cut that. You bastard. You know, the amount of times you've made me use whale noises to cut everything that you're saying.
I mean, you know, why hide it from the people? They'll know eventually.
What's wrong with whale noises are good though, so that's fine.
Yeah, everyone does appreciate the whale noises. Get more Tumblr gifts
When I first heard you were doing an abridged series of Hatred, I thought this is an odd choice.
I think we should just take the mics away right now before this gets out of control.
I mean, it was better than like your first choice, which was that the Anti-Zionist League game.
This is going.
I've forgotten the name of.
Yeah, well done. Your joke works really well when you can't even name the game you're trying to reference. Bye, everyone. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.